Hi everybody. Welcome back to Smirking Gun. This is Rob here to do another review. This one is Better Call Saul Season 2, Episode 7, which is called Inflatable. It's a really good episode. You get to see a lot more of where Saul, where Jimmy's going to become Saul. It starts out, full spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, please go watch it and then come back and watch this. So this starts out with a flashback of Jimmy sweeping up at his dad's gas station, and he's checking out a Playboy, pretending to be working, and he hears his dad. He listens to his dad getting a sob story from this guy who walks in, and Jimmy just starts listening to this guy's story, and pulls his dad aside and says, this guy's trying to scam you. They know that this is the place to go. You're an easy mark. People are grifting. His dad doesn't even know where he came up with heard about the word grifting before. But against his, better judgment, his dad not only gives him the $5 that the guy needed, but he gives him $5 more. And because he says he has car trouble, he goes in the back to get the guy some spark plugs. While his dad is getting the spark plugs, Jimmy's watching the till, and this guy looks at him, and he can pretty much tell that the kid knows, what the guy's up to, but he also knows he's a kid, and what's he going to do about it? So, he asks for a carton of Cools, suddenly whips out this money that he says he didn't have, so you knew Jimmy wasn't wrong. This guy was it worked. He did take his dad for some money. Tells him, there are wolves and there are sheep. Which one do you want to be? And that's where they go to, cut to the Better Call Saul little the cool part about that scene, besides Jimmy learning a lesson about how people are. Was that the main Easter egg, I guess, in this episode is the guy who played the grifter was played by Steven Snedden. If you know X-Files lore and stuff, Steven Snedden was on Vince Gilligan's show, The Lone Gunman. He played Jimmy Bond on all the episodes of that show, and he was really fantastic. In fact, it took me a second to figure out who it was. I almost thought he was the guy from Desperate Housewives, the guy who played Mike. But no, this is Jimmy Bond from The Lone Gunman. If you remember that show, he was really good in it. It's nice to see him. He does look older. That show was out in 2001, 2002 though, so it's been a long time since we've seen him. I probably should look him up on IMDb and see if he's got any other shows and stuff I could watch him on. So anyway, after that, basically this whole episode is Jimmy doesn't want to work at Davis and McGill anymore, and he goes to just quit. But one of his coworkers tells him that if he just quits, he loses his bonus. So he doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep his bonus. So he leaves. He tells the guy, "Forget it. Don't worry about it." And on his way home, he stops at a stoplight and sees one of those wacky, waving, arm-flailing, inflatable tube men. And he gets the brilliant idea, because the thing is all bright and colorful, to go out and get a whole bunch of real snazzy suits, bright colors and everything. Which is something that you definitely becomes part of the Saul character. So he starts going into the office, dressed in these really bright, loud colors, and automatically his boss, played by Ed Begley Jr., is, put off by it. Then he gets a juicer for the office, which is, he's trying to annoy everybody. He ends up splattering vegetable juice all over this guy's tie, this whole shirt, in fact. Then there's a problem with the toilets. Somebody's not been flushing, number twos. And Jimmy says it's him because he wants to go green. Talking about wasting gallons of water and everything. And the boss is like, they're low flow toilets. So it still doesn't get him fired. So he finally goes to a pawn shop and he picks out an instrument, and the next day the boss, they all hear bagpipes coming from Jimmy's office, and yep, he's playing the bagpipes. So his boss can't take it anymore, and he fires him on the spot. He says, "Congratulations, you got to keep your bonus." Jimmy tries to play it off, but he can't in the end. He kind of says, "Hey, you're a good guy," but he couldn't be somebody he's not anymore, and so he did the Jimmy thing. He didn't want to lose his bonus, so he figured a way out of the contract without having to quit. Meanwhile, you got Mike. In the beginning, Jimmy and him go into the DA's office, and he recants a story about whose gun it was, saying that it wasn't Tuco Salamanca's. The DA's not fooled that they know that something happened, that they must have gotten it to Mike, but Mike's not. Mike's old school. He's not going to give up anybody, so they basically leave. Mike's daughter-in-law finds a new house. He says, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of." But you can tell that none of this is sitting right with Mike, how it went down. And he kind of ends on a cliffhanger where he's in a junkyard, and then they cut away. And then with Kim, she's, being romanced by that other law firm. And Jimmy, tries to tell her, he makes up cards, Wexler McGill, that they could be partners together. But she turns him down because she knows that he's going to be doing things the Jimmy way and not her more straight-laced way. Even though she's, when she hangs out with him, they pull cons all the time. So that part, Kim likes Jimmy, but in the end I think she's never going to take his side because Jimmy has to do it the Jimmy way. So she ends up going in for the major interview at the law firm, and it sounds really promising. It just seems like she's getting set up for a fall, but she decides to not take the job and decides to go into business with Jimmy, but not as partners. It's like Wexler and McGill, where they'll have an office, but he'll have his thing and she'll have his thing, or her thing. Yeah. And that's kind of where they leave it. I mean, it's not a big episode. It's fun watching the little montage, the 70s, 80s montage of Jimmy in the suits and everything. And it was really, it's a clever, funny episode. Not everything has to be Breaking Bad, in this show. It's its own thing. I get a little irritated when I hear comments about, expecting it to be Breaking Bad. It's not. It's not Breaking Bad. It has elements. It has the same creators and writers, and it's set, filmed in the same locations, and it has a few characters brought back, but it's not Breaking Bad. It is Better Call Saul. So for all the people that have complaints about this show and how it's handled, get over it. We're not getting, I don't think we're even going to see Walter or Jesse unless it's in a really weird cameo. This show stands on its own. It's really good. I can't wait for next week's episode, which is called Fifi, where Mike plans on getting revenge on an enemy, and I know that they have Kim talking to Howard, and Chuck getting all when he's in the office. So there only being 3 episodes left, it's gonna start getting boom, boom, boom. I think the next 3 episodes are gonna be really good. So that was my review. I give it a 9 out of 10, and I hope to see you next week when I do the episode called Fifi, episode 8. Please like and subscribe. And this is Smirking Gun. I'm Rob, and I'll see you next time. Bye.